Hey guys, here's what we're going to be making today. It is this little rice cooker plush. And today's tutorial is actually a one-day collab tutorial. So what that means is that a lot of us plushie makers have got together and we're all doing the same thing. So we're not making the same plushie. What we have to do is everybody in the collab, and all their names are written here, we all have to make one plushie which is inspired by a charm which we really liked. So the charm that I chose to base my plushie on was this little rice cooker charm by XOX Rufus. So yeah, I just thought it was a really super cute charm and I liked how she made it open up, so I thought I would make mine open up also. And yes, this is quite easy to make actually. It's not really that difficult if you've made a couple of my tutorials. So I'm just going to get started by saying the things that you will need. For this tutorial, you'll need felt in the colours black, white, red and green. You will also need the same colours in thread, the template which you can download in the video description, fabric scissors, a sewing needle and some stuffing. First we're going to cut out the pieces. Lay all of your templates onto your white felt like this, and then use a coloured pencil to trace around the shapes. Remember that we need to cut out 2 of this piece, 3 of this piece and 2 of this piece. Now cut out all of your pieces and you should end up with something like this. As you can see, I've actually used this glittery fabric to cut out these 3 pieces, but if you don't have a fabric like this then it's fine, you can just use white. I just thought it would be fun to add a bit of sparkle. But yes, after you've cut out all of these pieces, what you need to do is take your small circle template and place it in the centre of one of your large circles, and using your coloured pencil again just trace around this shape and cut it out. To make it easier to cut out the middle section, simply fold your circle in half like this. Finally, cut out 2 circles from black felt, and these are going to be for your eyes. Now it's time to start sewing. Thread your needle with black thread and use a fell stitch to attach these eye pieces onto your base piece. So I actually decided to use safety eyes for this plush, so I'm going to really quickly show you guys how they work. Basically, you get these 2 little parts like this. You get this part and also this part. And to put them in the plushie, you just need to cut a tiny little hole, as you can see here. And then you insert the black part, which is the actual eye, into the hole. And this piece just goes on the back like this. You normally have to press it down pretty hard for it to click into place. Ta-da! And then your safety eyes are complete. Once the eyes are complete, you can use your black thread and a back stitch to sew on a little mouth, and your red thread to sew some vertical lines for the cheeks. Now once you've done that, take these 2 handle pieces and place them on either side of the face. Then using white thread and a fell stitch, we're just going to sew a couple stitches along each of these edges on the top of the handle. Now take this piece and place it right underneath the face, and again use a fell stitch to attach this to your base piece. Here is what that looks like. And now taking your red and green felt, just cut out 2 little circle pieces like this, and then again we're just going to use a fell stitch to attach these pieces onto this piece. Once you've done that, we're going to place the 2 edges of this rectangle together and sew along here using a fell stitch to attach this in place. Here is what that looks like. And now to make the bottom piece, you just need to flip this over and take the circle we cut earlier, then use a blanket stitch to stitch all the way around this edge, securing that in place. Once you've done that, we're going to make the inside section. So take your smaller circle and this rectangular piece, and again use a blanket stitch just like before to attach these 2 pieces together. Sew up this edge to close the gap, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to take this piece, the one with the hole in it, and place it on top of the piece that you've just made. Then using a blanket stitch again, we're going to sew all around this inner circle to attach them together. Once you've done that, you should get something that looks a little bit like a magician's hat. But once we've done that, we're just going to move on and make the lid to go on top. So take these 3 pieces that we cut earlier, and what we're going to do is place 2 of them back to back, and then use a blanket stitch to sew up just one of these sides up until you reach this point. Once you've done that, open this piece up like this. Then take your other piece and place it here, and then we're just going to sew along these two edges with a blanket stitch. Finally, sew up the two remaining edges, and you should get something like this. Now flip this piece inside out and cut off the excess at the corners so that it's circular. Then we're going to take our final circle piece, and you can see that I've cut two little pieces of ribbon. Don't worry, you can use felt if you don't have any ribbon. But what I'm going to do is use my white thread and just a couple stitches to secure these two pieces onto this circular piece. Once those ribbon pieces are secure, you can place this piece on top. Try to make sure that this line is in between the two ribbons. And then we're just going to use the blanket stitch again to attach this piece onto your base piece. Before you sew all the way around, don't forget to add some stuffing and then sew up the gap. Okay, so now that the lid piece is complete, we're just going to attach it onto this body piece. And to do that, I'm just going to place it on top with these ribbons facing the back, so not at the side where the face is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these down and sew in a cross shape to attach these pieces onto this back piece. Here is what that looks like. And now to hide these stitches, I've just cut out two little white squares, and I'm just going to sew these on top of here using a fell stitch, like this. And now we're almost finished. There's just one more thing we need to do, and that is put this piece inside this piece. So you just need to place it inside. While you're sewing this part, don't forget to stuff as you go. And once you've sewn all the way around, then your plushie is complete. So yeah, I do think this one is really super cute. I did make him a little bit fatter than the charm that Ruth made, but I just think he looks cute that way because he's really chubby and squishy and adorable. But yeah, I'm going to link all of these people's plushie tutorials in the description below. So if you have some free time, then I would really recommend you go check them out because I'm sure they're going to be adorable. And yes. So as always, if you make this plushie, I would love to see a video response so I can see what it looks like. And if you have any more tutorial requests that you would like to see me make, then leave those in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.